Welcome to Anita's Online Academy, Class 10 Science, Chapter 1, Chemical Reactions and Equations. In my last video, we were talking about the types of chemical reactions, in which number 1, combination reaction, we have already discussed. And we were talking about the second one, the decomposition reactions. And in decomposition reaction, I had told you the definition. Decomposition reactions are just opposite to combination reactions. In decomposition reactions, one compound breaks down into two or more compounds. And we had taken a few examples. At the end, we were talking about ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is a green crystalline solid which on heating breaks into ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Ferric oxide is a brown colored solid. Sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide are two gases which have a smell of burning sulfur. Now we come to next reaction. PbNO3 whole twice on heating gives PbO plus NO2 plus O2. PbNO3 whole twice is lead nitrate. It is also a crystalline solid and it is colorless. On heating, it gives lead oxide. Lead oxide is yellow in color. Actually, on heating, at the beginning, it is reddish brown in color, but as it is cooled down, then it becomes yellow. Then nitrogen dioxide, it is a gas and it comes out in the form of brown fumes. And then oxygen. So in this reaction, because one compound, lead nitrate, is breaking down into three compounds, or we can say one substance is breaking down into three substances. That's why it is a decomposition reaction. Now we will see that how can we carry out the decomposition of lead nitrate in laboratory. Now let's see how the decomposition of lead nitrate is carried out in laboratory. This is a boiling tube. In this boiling tube, we have taken about 2 grams of lead nitrate. Now we heat it, we hold this boiling tube with a test tube holder. It is must. Then we heat it on a burner. A brown colored, we can see brown colored fumes coming out. These brown colored fumes are of nitrogen dioxide gas. When we bring a glowing splinter in contact with the gas coming out, then this glowing splinter catches fire. This shows the presence of oxygen, because anything can catch fire or can burn in presence of oxygen as it supports burning. Now what is a splinter? Splinter is a small sharp piece of wood. So it has been brought in contact with fire so that it does not catch fire, but it starts glowing due to heat. It glows red due to heat. Now when this small splinter is brought in contact with the gas coming out from the test tube, this splinter catches fire. So it shows that from boiling tube, 2 gases are coming out. First is nitrogen dioxide, because of which the brown fumes are there, and second is oxygen, because of which the splinter catches fire. Now while these fumes are coming out, the lead nitrate in the bottom of test tube is converting into lead oxide. Earlier, the color of lead oxide is reddish brown, but as it cools down, it becomes yellow. Now children, till now we have discussed mainly 3 reactions under decomposition reactions. First is calcium carbonate on heating gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Reaction number 2. ferrous sulfate on heating gives ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide plus sulfur dioxide. Then lead nitrate on heating gives lead oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. What is common in these three reactions? That you can see heat, heat, heat. That means these compounds break down or these compounds decompose on heating only. So because these compounds are breaking down on heating, that's why this type of decomposition is named as thermal decomposition. Now we will take some more examples of decomposition reactions. So now we are taking some more examples of decomposition reactions. H2O in presence of electricity gives H2 plus O2. H2O, that is water, is in liquid form. When electricity is passed through it, it gives hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. That means it decomposes in hydrogen and oxygen. That's why it is decomposition reaction. Now, because this decomposition reaction is taking place because electricity is being passed through water, that's why it is called electrolysis. What does this word electrolysis means? This word electrolysis is made up of two words. Electro stands for electricity and lysis stands for breaking down. So, when any compound breaks down in presence of electricity, then such a decomposition reaction is called electrolysis or electrolytic decomposition. Now, before we go to some other examples, let us see what is the experimental setup for electrolysis of water. That is, we are going to discuss the setup by which we can carry out the electrolysis of water in laboratory. Here is a wide-mouthed glass bottle. This glass bottle has wide mouth and it is without bottom and it is named as B. In its wide mouth, we fit a rubber cork with two holes. In the two holes of these rubber cork are fitted two carbon rods, or we can say two graphite rods. This bottle is fixed with the help of a stand. Here is the clamp of this stand which holds the bottle tightly in inverted position. Bottle is in inverted position. These electrodes are connected with a 6-volt battery and a switch is also given here. We fill this water bottle up to 3/4 with water. Up to 3/4 level it is filled with water. In this water a few drops of sulfuric acid are added by which this water becomes acidified. So here is water filled up to 3/4 level and it is acidified by adding a few drops of H2SO4. By addition of H2SO4, the water becomes good conductor of electricity. Now we take two equal sized or similar test tubes and we fill them fully with water. After filling them fully with water, what we do, we take the test tube in one hand and put the thumb over its mouth and carefully we take it in this setup and invert it over one electrode. Then we take another test tube in the same way. It is also fully filled with water. We keep it covered with thumb and carefully we invert it on the another electrode. Means these two carbon rods are called electrodes in this setup. Now this water, the test tubes are fully filled with water and they are carefully inverted, so the water will not come out initially because in surroundings also it is completely filled with water, so the pressure of water inside the test tube and outside the test tube is equal, so the water will not move out initially. Now what we do, here is 6-volt battery and here is switch. We switch on the battery by which the electric current starts to flow. And children, because this carbon rod or graphite rod is connected with negative terminal, so it acts as negative electrode, and negative electrode is called cathode. What is it called? Cathode. And this carbon rod or electrode is connected with positive terminal of battery, so it is called positive electrode or anode. So remember this thing, in electrolytic setup always there are two electrodes. One electrode which is connected to negative terminal of battery becomes negatively charged, so it is called cathode or negative electrode, and another electrode which is connected to positive terminal of battery, it becomes positively charged, so it is called anode. So negatively charged cathode, positively charged anode, or negative electrode is cathode, positive electrode is anode. Now on switching on, the electric current starts to flow in water, and now we have to leave this setup undisturbed for some time. After some time, what do we observe? That in both the test tubes the bubbles are coming out, and we have seen many reactions. When do the bubbles come out? When some gas is coming out of that liquid. So these bubbles, the formation of bubbles shows that some gas is being formed in these test tubes. Now these bubbles move up in the test tube because they have nowhere to go. So as they move up, they displace the water filled in test tube downward. The water is filled in test tube. The bubbles are going up. They are bursting. The gas is collected here, and as the gas is collected, we can say at the bottom. Here now the bottom is acting as a top. So as the gas is collected at the top of these inverted test tubes, it replaces or it displaces the water. That means because of presence of these gases, the water starts to move down. Now we wait until the water in both the test tubes is completely empty. You can notice in between the experiment that the amount of gas collected in the test tube inverted over cathode is more as compared to the amount of gas collected in the test tube inverted over anode. And you can see exactly, it appears as if the amount of the gas is double in this test tube as compared to the amount of gas collected in this test tube. So it shows that amount of gas which is collected here is double the amount of gas collected here. Okay, later we will see that which gases are filled in them. Now when these test tubes are completely empty, we take them one by one. First we take this one. We just put our thumb on the test tube so that the gas may not evolve out of it. Now we take this gas and we make it straight. Now we bring some burning matchstick in contact or some candle. We bring a candle or a burning matchstick in contact with this gas. Near the mouth of this test tube, we bring the burning matchstick or candle. What you will see that a pop sound is produced. What does it prove? Yes, in this test tube there is hydrogen gas. Now we take the another test tube. In the same way, we put the thumb on it and we make it straight. Now we bring the burning candle in contact with that test tube also. What we observe, that candle starts burning more brightly. What does it prove? There is oxygen gas in this test tube because oxygen supports burning, and when the burning things get the supply of oxygen, they burn more brightly. One more thing is indirectly observed here, that, or we can say indirectly proved here, that yes, hydrogen and oxygen are in ratio 2:1 in water. So our experiment is complete. In this experiment, what did we see? That water on passing electricity decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen, and it is called electrolysis of water. Now next is electrolysis of sodium chloride. In the same type of setup, some other, the liquid which is taken here is called electrolyte. So NaCl also, NaCl means sodium chloride. It is taken in molten state. See, when we dissolve salt in water, it is aqueous solution of salt. Now here sodium chloride is molten and it needs a lot of heat to melt it. So sodium chloride in molten state, electricity is passed through it and we get sodium and chlorine. This type of experiments are conducted on industrial level for extraction of metal. So sodium chloride, molten sodium chloride on passing electricity converts into sodium and chlorine, and because electricity is passing, it is also electrolytic decomposition. Now aluminum oxide, it is also taken in molten state. On passing electricity, it gives aluminium metal and oxygen gas. So in these three reactions, you can see that decomposition of a compound is taking place in presence of electricity. So this type of decomposition is known as electrolytic decomposition. Some more examples are left that we are going to discuss now.